live on YouTube, and listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.
Good evening. Welcome back to All the Football Podcast. Watching live on YouTube, listening back on Spotify. It's been a while, hasn't it? At the end of the day, need to get back into the rhythm, but we got a lot to discuss tonight. It's been a mad summer, lots of things happening, crazy things happening, crazy transfers, crazy stories, abominations, the lot. Let's be fair. So, bit of context with how we're doing the format tonight, just because we've got a lot to rattle on in the next hour and a half. Oh, I thought Reece just popped his clogs for a second. So, going to rattle off our championship predictions very quickly. Of course, most of us have already done it. I've rattled loads of Wrexham fans already, so bon appetit. That's what we love to see. And then we're going to talk about the frauds that are the EFL with MORECAMBE, all of those lot, Wednesday, shocking owners, and we'll go from there. Lots to slander, probably slander your careers because I've been itching for weeks to do that. And yeah, anyway, lads. Julio, how you doing, mate? Long time no see.
Yeah, living the dream, mate. Living the dream. I already tweeted this earlier. People thought I retired from shows with Reece. Unfortunately, they were wrong. I'm still here. Just plodding along. But it's good to be on with you guys. It's been a little while, and I feel like we're due an absolute slag fest for slandering, to be honest. Especially with the EFL as well. I think it's been a while since we've had one of those. So.
Oh yes, boy, do we love to slander. I've just missed the slandering. At the end of the day, we're gonna bring it to a new level tonight, guys. And Steel Fraud, how's one doing? And you're on mute.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
There we go. This thing is such a spanner sometimes. I'm just saying hello to Roy Sheen. She's one of my regulars from my own channel. So what's up, Roy Sheen? Hope you're doing well. Everyone that's joining, welcome to the Weekly Steel Chair. Favourite channel, the World of Football Podcast. So we are back. It's good to be back on, me lads. It's been quite a while. We've not had the summer off. I haven't had the summer off. He has. What are you laughing at, you dick?
You went off for a minute. Your screen, every now and then you pop off and come back on.
I think I don't know. I think it might just be the connection a little bit. I'll deal with it.
It's just funny when it's cutting you mid-speech.
It's not funny for me. It's not funny for me when I'm being nice. It is good to be back on. And if you are new to the World of Football Podcast, plain and simple, are you going to will still be here by the end of the season? Or are you going to will still decide by the end of the season that this channel is shit and you don't want to be here anymore? So will still please hit that subscribe button because we're going to give you more content. Will still be on the Weekly Steel Chair later on the rest of the week, and will still subscribe to NMWMT, and will still subscribe to Red Bull Review because Julio is a wanker. Thank you very much for listening to my rehab. Let's begin.
And I will still say, let's just get on with this.
That's why I'm.
My God, that was insane.
That's why I am the fucking GOAT.
That's like an all-time Hall of Fame introduction, that is. Oh my God.
And I don't prep this shit.
Nah, to be fair, I did prep it for you last night on Doug's, but...
I've literally just heard
love the cat AVI, by the way. Loving the cat picture.
Yeah, it's top tier. I literally just turned up the volumes I've got on my other monitor to the YouTube, and I literally timed into I don't prepare for this shit.
Anyway then, lads, same procedure as always.
Yep.
Gonna rattle them off 1 to 24. Now, normally, general consensus with the bottom three. Everyone has different opinions, but I think this season is going to be different, isn't it, lads?
Not for Reece. I guarantee you he's put Norwich down there.
Reece, have you got Stripper FC bottom of the league?
I do not.
Good lad.
I've been fair to the stripper overlords. I've been very fair to them, actually. I've actually got them in the top 10.
Same.
Don't rate them. I've got them in the top 10 just by process of elimination.
At least they haven't employed a hipster this time. That's the main thing.
True, but they're still owned by a cunt.
Very true. In a way. Anyway, I'm pretty sure people can see my predictions there. So let me just very quickly correct that. Oh, I've just put the spoiler on the screen. But never mind. I think that should just be that one. So,
Julio didn't see all of it, but I can see it now. And that's actually some interesting predictions. Because obviously I've got it for our watch hours. So it's actually quite interesting predictions.
That's what we love to see. Brilliant stuff. Then, who have we got bottom, lads? Do we even need to elaborate here?
Let me say mine, because you two have both done your predictions already, and I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say mine, being the only unknown, and you guys are just going to say whether you've got the same or not. I've got 24 Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
23 Preston. 22 Hull City.
I've got two the same as you. Yes.
I have 2 shit shows and 1 weak ass competitor.
I have Sheffield and Hull in the exact same places. But in 23rd, I've got Derby County.
Wow.
That is a bold prediction.
Yeah. And obviously that did annoy Doug.
To be fair, I'm not surprised why he rose his eyebrows to that. They've had an insane summer. But the reason I said that about the bottom 3... look at this, mate. Exactly the same.
I obviously understand that Derby have had quite an interesting summer, but the reason why I've got them down there is John Eustace is a good manager, but do you really think John Eustace is going to be there the whole season? No, I think something better will come along and then he'll bolt.
I don't think. Okay, now that makes that take look a lot less crazy. Actually, I actually think it's quite a valid take to have.
Yeah.
Valid prediction for the season.
We are just football on here, Roy Sheen. Like when we're on here, we're just talking football and taking the mick out of some people, but in a funny way, of course, not an abusive way, except certain things. But we do like to have fun.
I'm sure that can be arranged. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I can dish a few back as well. Everton Football Club stands out.
You haven't put them in this prediction list, have you?
No.
They'll be there soon. Give it a couple of years. Mind they've had the takeover now, so we can't exactly
absolutely.
Shiri, can we, to take him to the championship, which is annoying. But
they are concerning me because obviously it's off topic. Obviously, Milan have just announced the signing of Jashiri, which is a great move from Bruges. But for the same price, Everton got knocked back on Dewsbury Hall. Like the exact same transfer fee, they got knocked back, and they need 6 or 7 signings. And Everton under David Moyes, like they're a decent side, but they're in trouble if they can't recruit. They're because they let go of 12 players in the summer.
Jashiri, by the way, not because he's got the same homeland as I do, but I think he's a good young player, and I think if United had gone in for him, I wouldn't have been too mad. I think he would have been.
United were thinking about it. But they didn't move. And Milan were like, no, he's our number one guy.
As a young project midfielder, granted, we've already. You could argue maybe Mainu could be seen as that now, just because new system he's got to improve.
I can't wait to see
Jashiri
him
would have
play.
been good.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him play beside like Samuel Ricky, Luka Modric.
I'm loving this Milan midfield. I'm very excited about Serie A this season, particularly Allegri and Conte.
I think Milan are going to win the league. Though. I still think Milan are going to win the league. I think Napoli will fade.
Yeah, European football.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the fact that Milan are they're playing the 5-3-2, but they're actually playing the 5-4-1 that bombs into the back five, and it becomes a 2-3-5 at the same time. So it's actually a very transitional system that apparently Allegri doesn't know what he's talking about, and it's actually been really good football to watch. So
this sounds like some form of, because if he gets the transition attack working, this sounds like a justification for Allegri's terrorist football.
He's been playing Pulisic as a hybrid number 8, number 10, and Pulisic has looked incredible. Rafa Leao's been brilliant up front. Like, I think they're still trying to get a focal point, but the aim is Rafa Leao plus another player as the front two, and Loftus-Cheek will rotate. But I'm really liking this shake-up team. Like, he's completely evolved his tactics. They don't seem the same. Like, you can see compact play, but the teams are actually all working for each other. Like, it looks good. Like, if you get a chance, I would have a look at some of these highlights, by the way. Like, they look really good in transition from back to front. Like,
I think having a wing-back system in transition, I think, is always a good system to run. I loved his. I'm not saying his Juventus side were a transition side, but when they did operate the 3-1-4-2,
they did play a bit of transition. Yeah, I like the makeup. Like, it starts as a 5-4-1, which I get it. Like, it starts like as a 5-4-1, but that allows Pulisic or Rafael to come in, or Leao's up front of his own, and it'll be Jimenez or a Estupiñán, and that's a baller of a sign as well. But you've got it goes from that into a 4-4-2. The 5-4-1 then becomes a 4-4-2, sitting in midfield to wait for reaction, and then it becomes a 2-3-5 straight off the bat, and then it comes back into a 5-3-2 sitting position. Like, it's all fast systems, and it looks so fluid. Like, you wouldn't think this is a defensive team. It looks so fluid. So I'm thinking, Napoli are finishing second.
I think the fact that Milan won't have European football this season, I think, will be the difference.
Do need another striker though. I think that's the only thing. Nothing against Santi Jimenez, but like, they do need another striker. I'm hoping it's Moise Kean, or I hope it's not Vlahovic.
Yeah, let's hope that Moise Kean doesn't flop again. If he does, though,
I think
like how Everton absolutely ruined the guy.
Yeah, I know Allegri wants either Vlahovic or Moise Kean because he knows both of them. I think the way he wants to play football, I think obviously Vlahovic brings you set piece goals, but Moise Kean brings you a whole variety of goals, and I think he would suit this system more. Leao and Kean up front.
Kean has gone and done it before. Everyone remembers his loan at PSG as a backup striker. He was brilliant.
So
difference between him and the Everton version of him, night and day. We all knew him since he was 15, 16 as a young prodigy striker.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he did well in Ligue 1 is actually good. Even if a Premier League side went in for him, I think there's that translatability between Ligue 1 to the Premier League. I think is good.
Yeah.
If I was Milan, I'd rather go for Moise Kean in this moment in time.
I also I don't particularly care about money, like in terms of what a player gets, but Vlahovic is the most expensive contract in the league, and I feel like that's a waste for Milan. I don't think there's any need.
It's crazy that there are those talks about him being, his contract being terminated.
Yeah.
I think they've died down the last few weeks, but I still think those were insane.
Yeah. If he does end up getting his contract terminated, then I would say Milan just go and sign him on a free transfer then. There's no risk. And then they could sell him at the end of the season if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. It's a low risk, high reward, whether he works out or not.
Oh, yeah. I agree. But that's just my excitement for European football this year. I'm looking forward to that. But obviously, back to this one is where the your entertainment is. And fuck City, Catherine.
Absolutely. Anyway, I'm going to rattle off some of mine really quick. Basically, me and Julio were discussing backstage. Anywhere sort of between 21st and you could say all the way up to probably 9th or 8th. It's just a lottery at this point, isn't it, lads? But rattling through some of mine quickly, because these are just impossible. They're there just because they spent a load of money and they got Nathan Jones who's going to scream at everyone, so it'll be funny. Oxford, they got Gary Rowett, full stop, and good championship players. I made a lot of people salty with that prediction. We'll come back to them shortly. Stoke. Pompey, they just need the midfield's too old, hence why they're on there. They can push on if they just actually make some signings. That attack's lethal though, and their home form.
Yeah.
Derby, they could be dark horses, so that's a gamble.
Yeah.
Adding all over the pitch. They just got to keep Eustace. QPR, lots of money. Will be interesting to see what they do with their new manager that they've lost, Cifuentes. That'll be interesting.
That's the thing. Losing him is a big concern.
100%. But they still got the likes of Chair and stuff.
You may as well drag Watford over for me because I've got them in the same position as you.
Fair play, lads. To be fair, what's
same as last season.
How long is that Pezzololo going to last, or whatever his name is, though?
I don't know. I've based my predictions slightly based on last season's league table plus what I
Don't
think
know.
they'll do. So that's why I have in full right beside me. Last season's league table and mine the same. This season's league at the same time. So that's why I based my predictions on. But Watford are a bomb site.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised there hasn't been any more droppings.
I love it how you just call them drop-ins now. That's brilliant. 13th, you lost Liam Manning. Transition year. Otherwise, you would have been up there.
There's no way they're finishing top 10 again.
No chance.
I had
Last
them in
year
the top 10 until I seen that they changed the manager. So I feel a little bit wrong by that.
It's understandable. To be fair, though, with
Yeah.
Bristol City, the only reason they got
Shocking.
in the top 6 was because of how much of a bomb site the league was last year in terms
Yeah.
of quality. It was so bad.
The crazy
But
thing is,
anyway.
though, is they could surprise you though. That's the weird thing. They could.
Especially, well, they kept most of their squad as well, which
Blackburn in
Championship.
12 Blackburn in 12 is an interesting one.
Ishmael, literally the only reason. And
Yeah.
considering what they lost last year, they did well. And to be honest, could have finished playoffs. Who's 11? Oh, yeah, West Brom. That's because of Ryan Mason, transition year.
Yep, me
They
too.
turfed out the Deadwood, but yeah, it needs
Me too.
time.
Yep, me too. I've got West Brom in there as well. Yep.
This is another gamble.
Middlesbrough.
100%.
Rob Edwards worries me.
They're
I
a
don't
lot
know.
worse off now this summer than they were last summer. Forget the managerial change, the recruitment wise. Recruitment wise, it's been poor.
I actually think the manager change came a year too late. I know that's harsh to Michael Carrick, but I still stand by it. He should never have got that third run. They should have.
To be
they
fair,
should have bailed out.
when you bring in Tommy Conway, a prolific championship goal scorer, and he did loads of Bristol City, and
He
Whittaker,
backfired.
he massively carried Plymouth. He hasn't got them going, and it's a good squad aside from that as well. They got one of the most valuable centre backs in the championship.
I disagree with that slightly. I think
Really?
they're actually quite weak. I think as well
At the back.
I think they're weak in goal. I think they're weak in attack. I think Hayden Hackney could get lost. I think August 31st, September 1st.
He is
Hackney
going.
goes to someone, whether it's United or Everton. You know, that kind of, it could be any team that finished in the bottom 10 last season in the Premier League, Hayden Hackney goes to. So
I think
I'm
Everton
not seeing
should
enough
go
from Middlesbrough. I'm not seeing enough from Middlesbrough recruitment wise to tell me, right, they can maintain their position.
Mhm.
I've only got them a little bit lower than you have.
So do I.
Because I
But
think ever since Chris Wilder, they've just bombed. Like Carrick, he did sort of a rescue job in the first season, but
even tried and tested.
Yeah.
Though. You got Wilder, you think is a good manager. You got Warnock, even Pulis. He couldn't get them up.
that was dire, the
sorted.
Pulis at the end.
I think Middlesbrough.
Cool.
I think Middlesbrough are the club now where they don't come back up. I think that that's harsh considering what city they're in. They're in a city filled of shitholes, but I
They
do
could
think
be the new Stoke City.
I don't think they're coming back up.
I
No.
think even worse than Stoke, because Stoke. Interesting fact about Stoke that I put in my video:
ain't
they
Rome
have
Britannia
not
anymore.
finished in the top 10 of any league since 2015.
That's right.
2015,
That's- that-
2014 in
finished
the
about
Premier
this-
League as well.
Where you've put them, Nathan,
Yeah.
is pretty much where they're finished, give or take a 3 spaces, ever since they came down.
And that's because they kept Michael O'Neill too long, even though it wasn't all his fault.
Which makes it crazy as well because the amount of money that their owners are pumping in.
They
Like-
are slut shaming the
Yeah.
league with the amount of money they're spending. It's not good. It's
And it's
really
just-
not good.
I can't even remember the last time they actually a lot of all their signings are hyped, no matter which way you look at it. But is there any that has actually been a standout where
No.
you see him go into where they sell them on for even any profit? It's absurd.
I'll be
I
right
knew
back.
we were bad, but yeah, fun, mate. Anyway, yeah, who knew? Let's rattle off some of yours, bud.
In 21st, I've got Blackburn Rovers. I do like Ismail, but I think Blackburn is such a mess that he could end up leaving, for all we know. And then the fact that they were playoffs halfway through the season and used to switch to a relegation side does not bode well.
That's a red flag ownership, boys.
I got Oxford in 20th.
Mhm.
Pretty much between Oxford and Blackburn, I couldn't weigh up whether the Venkeys were going to be the reason they finished below Oxford, or Gary Rowett was going to be the reason Blackburn finished. But I like Gary Rowett. I love his reputation. I love what he's about. He comes in, just works with what he has. Limited resources, achieves results as best as he can. I think he'll do it again.
Makes sense.
I've got QPR in 19th.
Mhm.
I worryingly think QPR could also be a dark horse though, and which is why I'm annoyed why they've come down here. Because I think every other year you get a team that looks like it's in turmoil that actually impresses everyone.
I'm pretty sure they got new owners as well, because obviously when we were having our takeover talks, if we went up to the Championship, we'd be the second richest beyond QPR. They're worth more than Villa. I'm pretty sure they're worth the same as Stan Kroenke, and they'd be within the top 6 richest owners in the Premier League if they go up. That's what a lot of people are sleeping on them by.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
And I think I'm probably going to fall victim, but I've tried to be as safe as possible given the way the season ended. In 18th, I've got Portsmouth.
Yep.
I think it'll be a good season for them if they stay up again, if they finish where they... I've got Watford in 17th. And now Watford is a weird one because on the one hand, this manager achieved some decent results across different clubs in different leagues. This is the best second tier in the world, though. This is a lot more demanding, a lot different. But their squad is so weird to me. It's on the one hand, I could look at it as dross. On the other hand, I look at it that there can be some explosion. If they marinate and put enough seasoning in the right places in the players they've currently got, they could shoot up the league. You've got good experienced players, but you also good young players like Rocco Vata as well. Another Albanian, just want to put out there. So I think this is a good. There's good players in there. They could finish anywhere between 17th and 10th, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Makes sense. Like that Chakravartse, I'd probably say he's one of the most underrated players in the Championship, going under the radar. And he's going to be at the end. It's just the manager situation that's diabolical.
Exactly. But that manager could be gone. That manager could be gone by November. True. And maybe they bring in someone crazy like Danny Rowland, for all we know, because he's currently available.
For me, he's going to be on the market for a while. I don't know why. This is one that I know Premier League starts next weekend, but I'm surprised Brentford didn't wait for him.
I'm surprised. I mean, we'll do our Prem predictions. I know we will, but I think I'm very surprised that Brentford went for someone who wasn't proven.
Basically, a Sky pundit.
And normally I support Brentford's data-driven recruitment, but I think to give someone a promotion from within, I think especially when you're always maybe you lose a brilliant coach, brilliant manager like Thomas Frank, you got to go for someone tried and tested, especially if your football club's going to be ripped apart with players leaving. Liverpool look like they're going to be the smartest team to sign Nathan Collins. Burma's already gone. Wissa doesn't want to play there. They've lost Norgard as well. Anyway, back to Championship predictions. Stoke is 16th.
Yep.
Only improvement because Mark Robbins. I like Mark Robbins. I like what he's about. I think he can slowly take this club higher. But I don't think they'll finish. I think they'll be around same place again.
That's fair.
I've got Wrexham in 15th.
Wow.
Now, I had Wrexham lower, only a little bit lower, but lower, until they signed Kiefer Moore today. I'm not saying Kiefer Moore is the answer, but what I am saying is that, so my biggest issues were, when making the predictions, my 3 biggest issues were the manager, the attack, and how bloated the squad is. They've got the biggest squad in the league, and they've just come up from League One. And it feels like they're signing big-name players to try and maintain that. But they need to start offloading players. And I don't think they're offloading enough. I think they've got a lot of players on longer-term contracts that they need to look to move on as soon as possible.
That's where I think they've shot themselves in the foot. Because obviously, it's like, I know I've got to bring Cardiff into this, even though we're not relevant anymore at all. Like, we literally played a bunch of kids in League One the other day because we're in that much of a mess. But when we got promoted to the Championship with that massive takeover under Sam Hammam, we were doing exactly the same. It did take us a few years to transition, so we had like an 18th or 17th finish, but we started to rise up the league. Yes, we were signing all these massive name players, your Kumases, your Fowlers, your Hasselbanks. I could go on for obviously you had your Roger Johnsons in there as well. So loads of players that ended up going to the Premier League. The young Aaron Ramsey in the side as well. Of course, your Peter Whittinghams, your Michael Chopras. But those players that brought us up, so your Andy Campbells, etc., they were very swiftly moved on in those years, just to reduce the squad down to be able to get more of these players in. Wrexham aren't doing that. I know they've got rid of Mullin to Wigan. He's not going to score much next season. That
surprised me a little bit.
But
that surprised me a little bit. More. But the reason it surprised me is because, this guy seemed to be their franchise player all the way through. Suddenly they're shipping him out on loan. And I'm like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I understand you if you want to improve the forward line, fair enough. But still, though, I think there's a lot of other places to look to offload because, like I said to you backstage, you can take the manager, the football club, and the players out of League One, League Two, National League.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only so far you can go without not being able to take League One, League Two out of manager, club, and players. Phil Parkinson's championship record is virtually non-existent or terrible.
It's terrible.
Some of the players, since he's been in, not since the early days, have we seen Wrexham show any kind of struggle? What are they going to be like when they're winless in 6?
Yep.
What are they going to be like in these different circumstances? My prediction for Phil Parkinson is he's gone within a year. Within 12 months, he's gone. And if he's not gone by then, he goes somewhere during early parts of the season after. But I think the board will be silly not to because, I think it depends. Obviously, they might prove me wrong. But if they finish where I think they're going to finish, I think he goes at some point in the season potentially, or at the end of the season and they go, right, we've made it to 15th, 14th, great. We're stable in the championship. Now we want to take that next step. We don't think you're that guy. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
But we're going to move on and
we're going to try and get a bottom end Prem manager to come down for us. We'll pay the money, whatever. That's what I think could happen, but I've been wrong on these predictions before. I'll be wrong again. My bold take, Charlton will finish above Wrexham.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the one hand, yes, the form table for the second half of League One, I think it was Birmingham, Charlton, Wrexham. I think that was the form table post-Christmas, post-January. What Charlton have that Wrexham don't is it looks like there's some smart business for Charlton with a manager who's got a reputation for over-exceeding expectations with minimal resources, who's already done that in this league.
Yep. And another thing with Nathan Jones, he only thrives on a slow build job. If he's thrown in the deep end, cough, cough, Stoke, cough, cough, Southampton, he is absolutely woeful. You give him time, give him like a year to bed in. For example, look at Luton on both of his spells and look at Charlton now.
Some managers work better on a smaller scale. Some managers work better as project managers where they'll be there with minimal resources, but they'll build it over time. When you throw a manager in the deep end with lots more money and probably a necessity to win a bit sooner, managers fall off the deep end. And I think that's why Charlton could finish above Wrexham. I know it's a bold take because, Wrexham, docu-series and, all this stuff. But is the here we go for Šeško come around?
No, Gassama scored again.
Oh, right.
It's 3-0. Jesus Christ.
Good grief.
I thought that was a Šeško here we go for a moment. I genuinely thought that's it.
No, that one happened so fast. Although I'm still not happy about that.
I'm not happy either. I think I put a tweet out last night, which is I'm all for supporting Vival's talent ID. And I think in other circumstances, I'd say just pay the money because I trust this guy. But I think for that kind of money, and whilst I like Šeško's potential, I don't think replacing one project centre forward with another is the answer, and not for that much money.
I would have just I would have just went all in on midfield signings because that's my biggest concern is midfield. I think we could have just
The
left
lack
with
of midfield. So I find the lack of mid. If you want a striker, great. Go get Watkins. Go get Mateta. Cheaper alternatives. Premier League proven. But the lack of midfield links for me is worrying. I had a discussion with someone about this, and they said to me, when I said to them we should have been all over the João Palhinha deal, it was like, not the profile we need. I don't care because when you look at our midfield, we're very small.
I don't care about midfield profiles. I just care about having a strong midfield that we actually need strengthening.
I think you strengthen the midfield with Palhinha. I think if you're starting the season with 2 6s, whether it's Casemiro and Palhinha or Ugarte and Palhinha, whilst you're building on Mainu, and obviously Casemiro's in the last year of his contract, he probably won't play. He wouldn't play as much.
We should have let him go. We should have let him go.
I think it offers a solid foundation. Granted, a bit more defensive, but we're still going to be an attacking side. We still have 4 players behind a striker, if you include the wing backs.
We could have signed, not even kidding, we could have signed Angelo Stiller and João Gomez for 60 million combined, and that's midfield. Sorry for me.
Exactly. I think the lack of midfield, even if we did the Sancho Douglas Luiz swap, I'd been happy with that. I think Douglas Luiz adds to our midfield. But what's worrying me is when you look at all our midfield options, they're very small. Palhinha's 6'3", he's a big guy. He's very good. He's a very good defensive midfielder. Just
Ugarte seems to be the new scapegoat because he keeps making the same mistakes in midfield. But I'm like, this is what I hate about our fan base. Like, it's so horrible.
If we signed Ugarte and you expected a ball playing midfielder,
you're insane.
No. Ball winning midfielder, not someone who's. And I can't respect anyone's opinions on Ugarte if they follow their criticism with,
Roy Keane's top tier. Roy Keane's
legends.
If they criticize Ugarte and then immediately follow up with, we paid for PSG to sign João Neves, we funded that deal. No, I'm not having that. You can't.
That's delusion. That's a delusional thing.
You can't look at players that we sign to win, to just clean up play and give it to the next guy who's good on the ball. We just don't have any good. Apart from Mania, we don't really have.
He's another one that's a bit
playing midfielders.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't think Amorim will last the season if he doesn't get a midfielder. I'm being honest. I think he doesn't last the season if we don't sign a midfielder. I think he's gone by Christmas if we don't get a midfielder.
I back that.
Because you can't spend 200 midfield on an attack and not have the engine working.
Yeah.
You can have four wheels for your attackers, or in this case, you're building a tank because there's so many attackers. But you can't have a strong engine if there's no midfield in it. And if we have no midfielders, we're idiots. Like,
I think we have to sign.
We need 2. For me, it's 2.
We have to sign a midfielder, even if it's Hayden Hackney for 20-something million. I don't care. I don't scoff at the Championship like other fans do. What I see is probably a cheap value for money signing who will easily make our money back in a year if he doesn't work out. Everton will probably sign him for 35 million quid next year if we signed him for 25 this year.
Like, at the end of the day, that's what I'm thinking.
Even that, I don't see what people are thinking of, but I know people rate him a lot. I know Roy Keane. I don't understand people's obsession with Baleba. But if he's a target, sign him. I don't see the obsession, but I think Matt O'Reilly's a far better player. But Baleba seems to be wanted. We should not be playing 2 number 8s in midfield. It should be 2 defensive midfielders. Yeah, it should be. I stand by that. It should be 2 defensive midfielders. One that's a ball winner, the other's a controller. But we're so stupid. We're so stupid. But yeah,
there's 2 kinds. There's 2 midfield partnerships.
There's a holding midfielder and a playmaker. It's as simple as that.
But there's 2 past midfield partnerships where if I said them to you, probably think, yeah, that's probably it. Khedira and Alonso at Real Madrid under Jose, and then Kante and Matic under Conte at Chelsea.
I would go for potentially one other one. I would have said Javi Martinez and Schweinsteiger under Jupp Heynckes as well.
Yes. God damn, I love that team. Yeah, exactly though. I think they are 3 precedents you have to follow. I think the fact that we've got, I did a show last week, believe it or not, on my channel. shock horror. And on that show, I said we need to look for, if we'd signed Palhinha, we probably could have had that Matic and Kante-esque B-Tech partnership in some format. It would have been cheap, it would have been short-term granted, but it would have been 70 million pounds for a 30-year-old. It would have been loan with a buy option for a 30 million pound Premier League proven midfielder who's played under Amorim. It would have been enough. Then Casemiro goes, and then you maybe bring in more of an elite ball player.
But we don't do it.
We didn't do it, and it really surprised me, actually. I thought Palhinha would have been alone. If we're broke, alone with an option to buy or an obligation.
Exactly, or
Makes sense.
So, I've got the Swans in 13th, by the way, Nathan. Which
Interesting.
means no matter where they finish this season, they're going to finish above Cardiff. I just think if Swansea get that Kone deal from Wickham over the line, they'll be sound.
Good news. The deal's off.
Is it off? Oh.
Yep. And the McBurney deal's off as well.
what a line.
I knew the McBurney deal was off.
I've missed that line. They'll still finish above Cardiff.
I mean, is there
Yeah.
any? Yeah,
I mean, even if they finish bottom of the league relegated, they still
still
finish.
finish
above
above.
you.
I know.
That
God,
would
how
be-
far we fallen, haven't we, lads? Oh my God.
Do you know what the
Get
thing is
out,
with
honestly.
Swansea? It's yet again another summer where they lose a key player or two. You know, Harry Darling's gone, big loss. You look at their team, you think there's a good first 11 there, but they're missing stuff in the first 11 and stuff in the squad. They do this every year.
Yeah.
I think they could push forward, but I think 13th would be a good season for them. If they can maintain that and play their Swansea way of football, you know, that Reece is so, like, you know, into, particularly under Michael Laudrup, then I think they'll be fine. I've got Middlesbrough in 12th.
Same.
Reasons I said beforehand.
Same.
I think Rob Edwards is a gamble. I think he's only had I can't remember what it was. Either 16 wins or 16 points. I think it's 16 wins though, in like 2 years.
It's not a great record.
It's not great. Granted, Premier League I'd understand, but the fact that they came down and it took them so long to get rid of him in the Championship, it's a gamble for him. I really hope he can bring himself back. But I'm not, like I said before, I'm not convinced with Borough's recruitment. I think they're weak. They had Mark Travers on loan last season, I think it was.
That's right.
That's correct.
He's not coming back. And like I said, their attack is weak. Their midfield is, they could lose their midfield. They had a bunch of players on loan last season as well. Like some of the better players in the team were on loan. So, you know, there's the Chuba Akpom thing, which is crazy. I've never been so invested in a player playing the Okokoku with more than 2 teams. So yeah, I just think Middlesbrough are sinking a little bit, and I think they'll finish 12th. I've got Bristol in 11th, and then I've got West Brom in 10th.
Interesting.
I couldn't decide between these last 4 that I just said. No, these last 3, sorry. Because of the fact that West Brom, they're all right, but it's the manager. There's just so much unknown with the manager. I don't know what he's going to be like. He could be sacked in November. He could have him in the playoffs challenge in May on the final day.
The one thing that I will
Nice.
commend about West Brom, I did say this on my, is they've literally finally got rid of all this deadwood that has plagued them since they got relegated. I think it was 21, wasn't it?
Yeah. So 4 years it took them to get rid of a bunch of deadwood. 4 years.
All you need to know.
So yeah, that's my teams until 10th. Probably live to regret those, but the game is the game.
Absolutely. Mine, to be fair, they'll always be worse. That's the thing with the Championship. It's just drawn out of a hat, isn't it, really? But Reece, Go for it, mate.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. 21st, I've got Stoke.
Don't blame you.
Then I've got Preston. Then Oxford. Then QPR. Then Charlton. Then Swansea.
Wow.
Then Wrexham. Then Pompey. Middlesbrough and West Brom.
Yep.
Same position they finished in. Actually, no, they finished in 9th last season. I've dropped them a few positions. 10th, I've got Millwall.
Wow. I'm shocked by that.
I'm not.
Very bold. Now, moving on to my top ones. Let's go just before the playoffs. There's one team...
Failing to clinch it is what I'm going to call them.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Serial losers. Let's have a look at what you could have won.
Yeah.
It's literally been the last 3 seasons. It's just Millwall. They get in there, have a shocking run at the end of the season, end up finishing, well, top 10. Consider it good, rinse and repeat. Same as the Rangers cycle, which we'll get onto shortly. But, lads, there's one team that I've missed out and that I've put in my top 10.
Hang on. Are they in my bottom 14, 15?
They're in both of your lower 10s, basically.
The Swans.
I did the right thing. I did the honourable thing.
Let me explain this one.
At least I kept the 2 Welsh sides close together. Only separated by... I kept 3 Welsh parties together.
Oi,
Swansea, Nathan Jones, and Wrexham.
I don't know. I mean, look at mine. I've been quite fair. I put Wrexham above Swansea.
Good for you, Reece.
Nathan has completely disowned Kiefer Moore as a Welshman. That's why I've got Wrexham.
He was disowned when he went to Bournemouth, mate.
But Wrexham sealed the deal.
They did. But if you look at Kiefer Moore's career, he literally just chases down money at this point.
It is
everything, loyalty, league position, the lot.
Hair gel. What's he gonna pay for all that hair gel?
Actually get to 6'7" when he's only about 6'5", 6'6".
What I find strange as well is the fact that they were able to get Connor Cody before Rangers did. I say thank you, obviously, because I didn't want him. I know a lot of Rangers fans did, but I didn't want him. But I still think it's absolutely strange. No worries, Roy Sheen. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, you're in and out. Obviously, appreciate it. So have a good one.
Have a good one.
But yeah, that's
Yeah, my Swansea one's a gamble. So this takeover absolutely petrifies the life out of me. With the amount of extra recognition they're going to get and the actual footballing structure that's going to be implemented at the top with a bit more money and with brains, which they've been lacking since they've been relegated from the Premier League.
I mean, the only reason I'm going to be there, so that's a good thing.
Very true. The only one that... The reason I'm putting them in my top 6, too many injuries at the back. Ronaldo and Eom are 2 of the most overrated wingers in the Championship. But they brought in some good signings, though, which worries me that they'll be worked out quickly and shipped out the door. And also Alan Sheehan. They've had a terrible pre-season. He's going to be sacked come October, November, when they're really low in the table with the squad they've got. Then they'll get an insane manager in, like they always do, spend a lot of money, and then they're going to rocket up the league.
Yeah.
And in the coming years, they're going to scare the life out of me as a Cardiff fan. In fact, I'm going to say it now, within the next 5 years, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 playoff finishes in there.
Mm.
And for me to say that is bold and scary.
I see that.
Yeah.
I mean, my 9th place team in Derby, which is which I was gonna say was probably expected, but then I look at where you two have put them, and I'm a bit like, have I gone too bold with this one?
To be fair, mine's a gamble.
Have I picked the wrong team? This is a bit of a gamble because I like Eustace, and the last 2 years in jobs, whatever team he was with at the start of the season, they were in the playoffs when he left.
True.
So if he sticks around, if he's able to stick around this time, I think I just like him. I just like Eustace. I like what he's about. I think the recruitment's been decent. So I think don't be surprised to see them there.
It's like when I did mine, like I was edging my bets a little bit because I was looking at the squad, and it had to come down that if Ebou Adams gets injured, there's nothing in their midfield. It's League One quality, and that's what did it for me. Because, well, obviously when he played for us, he was injury prone as anything. Very unlucky, but you lose him. Good luck, unless you sign anyone. There's still time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What we got, Reece?
Birmingham City.
Wow.
I think people are over. I think they've brought in some decent players, but you can't spend £50 million on a player in League One and think you're going to come and absolutely torture the Championship. I'm sorry. Like, they're lucky there was no PSR to stop them, but now they've got to really turn up, and I don't think they will. I think they'll get found out, and when you spend 50 million quid in a league that you should be spending nowhere near 5 million, for example, you're absolutely insane. So I think they will. I think they'll get found out. They've got some good players though, but I think I know a lot of people have got them saying, "Oh, they can finish in the playoff spots," and I'm like, I just don't see it.
That's fair enough.
The coach hasn't really got championship experience either.
Yeah,
which doesn't.
I'm pretty sure it's Chris Davis's first job, Birmingham. Because prior to that, he was constantly like first team coaches at Liverpool and all these Celtic, all these other sides.
Yeah, like why are these clubs taking a gamble on these people?
I like him personally. I think he proved to be a little bit adaptable last season, and I've got to respect him for that. But I think it's very easy to adapt when you've got all the money in the world to spend on players. You know, their transfer spend last year was what League One clubs probably spend over 5 years,
10 years
if they're lucky.
Yeah.
It's just funny. It's like he's adapted like into Miami and MLS when you bring in all the ex-Barca players, but when you remove the ex-Barca players, all you've got is Redondo as a world-class promising player, and then you're fucked. So that's basically what he is. He's basically had like next level investment for a league that's easy to piss walk if you get everything right. League One is so easy to walk. So I think people are overrating them too much. I think they'll be in the top 10, but they're not finishing in the playoffs.
That's fair enough. Now, my number 8 has rattled a few people, but it's because of their points deduction.
Yeah. Even though apparently it's now, according to Ant, they might not be going through.
If it doesn't go through, I think they'll be in and around the playoffs, but I think it's just momentum coming down. The squad is 10 times weaker than before, than when they won the league. Bobby Reed, 50-50. Is he going to be much of a replacement for Vardy? Got to keep Fasawu fit, who they massively missed last year.
They're about to sign that Coney, I think. They're about to sign that Coney, yeah. The Plymouth boy or wherever he's from. They're about to sign him as well. It looks like that. And it looks. I think he's Plymouth. I think. But they're about to sign Wickham. Sorry, that's the one. Yeah, and it looks like their manager does rate Fasu and Mavididi because he's playing them both in the same system.
They're balling in pre-season.
Yeah,
I like Mavididi anyway, but like Fasu is a good player. But like if they get it right, they'll be fine. The only thing for me, and I said it on the prediction stream I was on the other night, my only concern is Leicester without Jamie Vardy. It's a different level of experience they've not had.
Yeah.
How they cope without him is going to be very interesting, but
I think on top of that is the player turnover since the first championship season. That will take a massive toll without him because, well, pretty much Vardy and Winks, they carried him through, nurtured Mavididi and Fasawu in that season.
Yeah.
Away you go.
It is a strange one.
It is.
I had strippers in 8th. I think Manning is a good appointment.
Same
But
position.
I think they've lost a lot, and
They've
I think
lost
a
their
playoff
two
push-
best players.
I think a playoff push can be there, but I just don't think it'll be enough.
It's still. I think it's funny that they managed to get close to 20 million for Josh Sargent, and he's absolutely wank.
That's one of the most ridiculous transfers I've ever seen in my life.
Sign them for the same amount of money you're selling them for is absolutely hilarious.
That's
Dude.
got to be a tax write-off in some way.
And the fact that people are saying that he actually did well for Norwich just makes me laugh.
Those are people that don't watch football.
He was severely overrated at this level. Failed to score. Terrible.
Your dad's not happy. Well, actually, even better. Your dad's not happy at Julio. Even better. What's up, Paul? What's up, Paul? He's on my side for
Go
a
back.
change.
I have very valid reasoning for that. Go back and watch it.
Nah, Paul.
I stand by what I said. That's
Paul,
probably the hill I'll die
he's
on.
on there. He's on there. Paul.
Yeah.
He's on the heavy. He's on the heavy shit, Paul. That's why he's got Charlton so high.
Oh god. Anyway, my 7th. I've got the strippers in 7th. Literally because of what you said, but main one for me, keeping them out of the playoffs. Losing Broja Sainz. You've got Nunes still in there, but transition year again for me. Who you got, Julio?
I've got Millwall in 7th.
Just missing out on playoffs.
I think
Interesting.
they're in for a good season. I think Alex Neil's the manager there, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to double check because I was about to say it off the cuff and I was like, hang on a minute. I don't want to get this wrong. No, I thought it was him. That gaff is going to be so difficult to go and play. If they keep Tanganga, I think they're in for a very good season. I just think they just miss out on playoffs because of things like Leicester not getting that points deduction.
Yeah. Have you seen they got Doherty on the left as well? Tanganga on the right, Doherty on the left. That's ridiculous.
Just want to say, Doherty in this year's FIFA, I got him to 91 rating in my career mode. One of the best players I've ever used as a left back. So no slander will be taken on Alfie Doherty here.
Here.
I mean, with a name like that, I'd be slandering him. Just saying.
Oh god, I still can't get over how he was in a double relegation side. They kept him until they were relegated, and he just didn't make any impact. As literally the best left back in the league, unbelievable.
I'm surprised he didn't get a better move. Like, no disrespect to Millwall, but it's Millwall.
It is a coup, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm surprised none of the other teams went in for him. Because you can't sit there and tell me, especially clubs who are going to a five at the back of some kind, or they're looking for left backs who are very good going forward. You cannot sit there and tell me there was no one in the Championship who was looking for one.
Even then, he screams of a Sunderland signing.
Oof. Yeah.
Bold take, but
I think he'd have been good business for anyone, but yeah. Millwall got him, fair dues.
Who we got, Reece?
Coventry.
That's balls.
It's not Frank Lampard.
True.
That's why they don't get playoffs.
Lampard's a very nearly man, if you look at his career.
I mean, look at his wife. He is a nearly man.
But like, when he was at Derby, he took Derby from 6th, I believe, to 6th, and lost the playoff final.
Yes.
With one of the biggest budgets in Championship history as well.
To an Aston Villa team, to an Aston Villa side who were 13th, I believe, when they sacked Steve Bruce earlier that season.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to Chelsea, took on top 4 with the transfer ban, fair enough. I think that did really well for him, I think.
And then he made comments. Then he made comments about their youth team and got the sack for it.
Yep.
I was also going to point out he lost an FA Cup final to Reece's favourite manager of all time, Mikel Arteta. Lost 6 months later, and then he got sacked 6 months later, and it didn't bode well when the team he got sacked with went on to win the Champions League.
And he went to Everton and it was a bombshell.
Tomori.
Yep.
Then he took the Everton gig, which never could get going.
Yeah, bad mistake.
Did well last season, I will admit, given that, what he went into, where they were, and that.
I think he just had the shot factor luck, though. That's why he was able to get them from such a low position to finish considerably high. Now he needs to prove it over a full season. They might end up doing better, but
I agree with you, but I think to an extent as well, I think he was unlucky because over in the form to the playoffs, Sunderland
they were a form team. Yeah,
across like Coventry had all that momentum, were amazing. Going into the playoffs, Sunderland had a really bad run of form, and then during the playoffs, Sunderland were very smash and grab.
Yeah.
Throughout the entirety of the playoffs, including the final, Sunderland were lucky to go up, which is why, even though they're doing all this transfer outlay and whatever with this manager, I don't know if this manager sees out the season in the Premier League.
Nor I.
Which is my Premier League prediction, obviously, about Sunderland. I would love them to stay up, maybe not with this manager, because it just seemed they were almost too pragmatic. Which I'm all for pragmatism, but it didn't look like Sunderland were doing much.
There's pragmatism.
Otherwise.
There's pragmatism, and then there's taking the piss.
Yeah.
And to be fair though, Sunderland do have a better chance of staying up than Newcastle. I had to get that one.
You hate those barcodes, don't you?
Sunderland should have got the Saudi.
I really hate them. I really hate Newcastle because their fans are pathetic. And their fans are coming out with a whole lot of copium shit, and I'm like, the reason nobody's signing for you lot is because nobody wants to stay in a shithole. It's plain and simple. Why on earth would you want to move to Newcastle? I've been to Newcastle once, and I'm never going back. It's like Newport. You're in and you want out straight away. No fucking chance am I ever going back to Newcastle. It's a scum shithole filled with people that sound like talking frogs. I am never going back. So yeah, horrible city, horrible fans. They're the second biggest club in their city anyway. Third if you prefer Middlesbrough, which is tolerable. But I genuinely hate Newcastle. Genuinely hate them. And the fact that they've signed Aaron Ramsdale on loan should be an automatic grounds for relegation, in my opinion.
He is Mr. Relegation at the end of the day.
Yeah, he really loves to get relegated. I think he's like on his CV, he's like, which one can I get now? It's just too bad to take Arsenal with him.
Oh, I can't wait for the Prem predictions next week when we can just call them out. Oh, that's going to be so good. Anyway, sorry, bud.
I was going to say, I may as well put mine in anyway because I've got them in the same place they did last season. But I think they're boring anyway. I do have Bristol City.
Fair enough.
Finish off. Actually, I'll tell you what, Reece. Finish off your playoffs.
Yeah.
Because whilst we're in the playoffs, there is a whole section.
Bristol in 6th, Sheffield United in 5th, Blackburn 4th, Leicester 3rd.
Who was in 4th, sorry?
Blackburn.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've got Leicester 3rd, and Leicester win the playoffs.
That is crazy. So crazy it might actually just work for Blackburn.
I think people are. I get obviously you guys have got them low down, but I find Blackburn. You can tell like they're getting to the point where they're sick of being in the Championship now. Like they're sick of it, and they're trying to really force their way out. But I think they lose the playoff final.
I tell you one thing as well. The only thing that's holding back Blackburn is their owners at this point.
Yeah,
the sheer lack of if they get investment in that squad, they're knocking on the door. They're doing everything right by that front. But going to rattle off my playoffs. Got Millwall in 6th. I got the Brummies in 5th.
Yep.
I've got Saints in 4th. Will still.
You can't do it.
I can't do it. I'll leave that one for Reece.
Nathan, you'll never be him.
United.
You'll never be him, Nathan.
Never be Reece. Nah. Guy's on a different planet. And I'm going to call it now.
Wow.
Leicester.
Done it before. What's Alex Neil's playoff record? 2 wins from 2 finals?
Correct.
Millwall
One
to
league,
be
one championship.
Birmingham.
Bet.
Okay. That's an interesting prediction you've got there. Birmingham to lose to Millwall.
I think Southampton bottle it at St Andrews.
I reckon
I'll call it back. And then
So
Sheffield United, they get slaughtered in the first game, and then they draw the second game.
So that guarantees one of your top two is Ipswich.
Correct.
Who's the other?
It's quite ironic because he's doing a nearly job again.
Oh, right. I completely missed that. Wow.
Correct. Reese's face is astonishing.
I'm genuinely gobsmacked that you've got Coventry in second.
Main
Like,
reason
that
being,
is a gobsmacking moment. I did not expect that at all.
if they can keep Redoni fit and scoring, my take of Coventry is this. They feel like in a similar position to us, where you get new owners in, you rocket from League 2 to the Championship, you've got momentum with fans who just appear back out of nowhere, you're circling the drain constantly for years with big names, big manager names. And when I'm talking circling the drain at the top, near misses. At one point, it's going to stick. And with the concerns I have with Leicester, the concerns I have with Will Still at Southampton, Sheffield United, Ruben Sellers is a firefighter for me. And there's bits missing in that squad. One answer for me is Coventry. And then Ipswich are just too strong for this league.
Yeah, there's definitely some things about Ipswich that does have me a little bit concerned though, you know, like when I look at Ipswich, like they've just come back down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and people expect them to win the league again. The only, like, to be fair, I do as well. The only thing that goes against them in the worst way is how do they replace Delap? Like, even if they've got a good squad, how do they replace Delap's goals?
They're also losing Broadhead as well. He was a massive asset for when they got promoted.
Yeah, and they don't have a Mari Hutchinson anymore, do they?
I think is he still there? Let me have a look.
I don't know what Julio was saying because he was on mute.
I think he's still there currently, but I think there's obviously transfer in the offing.
Yeah, he's still there.
They do need to get an investment there because you can't just keep Kieran McKenna on a new contract and not spend. That's the only thing.
And they can't feel too safe either because Luton did that. They lost the spine and end up getting relegated and lose their spine again and can't even beat Wimbledon, who've lost all their best players and only just got out of League 2 last season, literally because of how many teams get promoted.
Yeah.
That's why they worry me in League 1. Because as it stands, after what I saw at the weekend, both Plymouth and Luton aren't going back up at all. And Plymouth will be lucky to get in the playoffs.
I agree. We'll see. Who have you got 6th to 3rd?
In 6th, I've got Leicester.
Yep.
I just think whilst I like Cifuentes, I don't like what they're losing. Vardy, even Cody as well. There's some leadership, and I worry that the momentum from last season will carry through, and it'll be difficult for them this year compared to when Maresca had them 2 years ago.
Especially without Faze and Vestergaard in defence.
Yeah.
I've
got Birmingham City in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably a bandwagon prediction, but I just think their recruitment is too insane to not at least be up there. I've got Coventry in 4th. I think the top 6 were the hardest for me.
Yeah.
Because for me, there is no standout candidate. Every one of those teams could either not be in the playoffs or win the league. And I think that's insane. That's crazy for me. Sheffield United, I wanted to put lower. But by process of elimination, where I put the other teams, I had to put them in 3rd. You know, Fireman Sellers is in. I thought their decision to sack Wilder was a bit weird.
I think it's because they left it so late as well.
I think, obviously, he only gets playoffs. Fair enough. Doesn't win the playoffs. I can understand the frustration. You want to go up for the first time of asking, but I think this new ownership is trying to move towards a recruitment style where instead of having loads of scouts, it's a bit old. It's like old school mixed in with what's going on now. So there's still the data analysis, there's still the data doing the recruitment, but they would look for a manager and maybe a senior scout, just two people, to go actively to see the players themselves, and then comes together with a decision with whoever the board is, the transfer committee, etc. And I feel like having an old school head like Wilder in that environment would have been perfect. They haven't got him. I thought it was a mistake for Hull to sack Sellers. Sellers is the right guy if you're in an absolute shit show. You look at Southampton, you look at Reading, you look at Hull City. Sheffield United is not that as such, in my opinion. I think if they'd gone in for someone like Cifuentes or Danny Roll, someone with a bit more prestige from last season, shall we say. Not dissing Ruben Sellers at all, but someone whose standing was quite high last season, I would have understood. But I wonder if there was actually, if when they sacked Wilder, there was actually a replacement in mind, or was it, we can't continue with this guy. We'll figure out later who we're going to sack, who we're going to hire as manager, but we've got to get rid of Wilder. I still think it's the wrong choice personally, but I think they've done it. They see what happens. I think they've got some good players in there, 100%. I think the midfield is really good, really stacked with options. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how they do. Then I've got Ipswich in second.
Wow.
I don't see McKenna winning the league. I think if McKenna finishes anywhere between second and sixth, I won't be surprised, because whilst they gave the Premier League a good go, I don't think they've got, I was going to say, I feel like initially they were the weakest of the three that went up. I like how they strengthened, but you can have all those chess pieces, all those assets, but I don't know if they'll carry the same weight. You got Sammy Smodics.
Good player.
I believe they still got him. They haven't got rid of him.
Yeah,
He better replace those goals from Delap. Delap was one of their shining lights last season. He's obviously not there anymore. The goals, I think, are going to be spread out a lot more. They need to be, in my opinion.
It'll be like when they got promoted. So your Hurst's got your goals, your Broadhead's got your goals, your Chaplin's got your goals. Same sort of with League One. They had Wes Burns fit at the time as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think he's still out injured at the moment.
It wouldn't surprise me if Ipswich go down and finish 10th, because to be honest, I think we're understating the fact that they went back-to-back with their promotions. And I feel like that can take a toll and that can humble a football club at some point. There is going to be a sink at one point. And I think Ipswich almost have to go up to avoid that.
Yeah.
Because if Ipswich don't go up, some of their better players can get raided by the other teams that would go up. And then Ipswich can sink. Yes, you've got your parachute payment money, but what use is that if you're not going to compete? As you say, with a lot of teams.
The thing they need to avoid is doing a Norwich back in the early 2010s. So obviously you had Norwich and Southampton doing it back to back. I think Norwich did it first, didn't they? And then Southampton did it straight after. Southampton solidified straight away. Obviously their youth academy helped a lot with that. Nigel Atkins, etc. Everyone knows the drill. Norwich, they got too cocky with second to third season syndrome. Then they got completely stripped, and it took Alex Neil.
Their appointments got complacent.
Yeah,
a little bit. Lambert brought them up, stayed with them for a year, and then went. Adkins, and then they brought in Chris Hughton, who I don't think is a bad manager, but they took too long to get rid of him in that third season, and that's when they went down. Neil brings them back up, takes them straight back down. Southampton, for a good few years, we saw, went from strength to strength. Within 2 years, they were finishing in and around the European places when they came up. And that's after sacking Adkins in March, and everyone was like, that's harsh. They brought in Pochettino, didn't speak a word of English. He kept them up and he made them look good. And what they had, for a couple of years was they had Pochettino and then Koeman, two managers who probably at one point I would have loved United to have had, to be honest, because I like both of them.
Because it was funny because both of them got poached as well, didn't they?
Yeah, but what they had was, they in that era they had managers who took the team forward, and the players were able to sell on for profit.
Yeah.
So it was
The
a
problem
very
is
it was a selling club.
they kept down. The problem is they kept going
Yeah.
down that model when they should have invested and they should have played smart. Funnily enough, that's exactly what I said about Brighton. Brighton are going to
Yeah.
keep selling and selling and selling, and eventually something's going to click, and then Brighton are going to
Well,
go.
they've just been spending. I don't remember.
I said that.
For a couple of years
I
now.
did. I did say
do
that.
remember
Here,
you saying
remember?
that, yeah.
I was like, eventually
Yeah, 'cause-
something's going to click. Something's going to click. They're going to snap, and they're going to realize actually we've got a chance here. We can really force a conversation if we just spend, and they are. And I'm like, if only you'd done that a year before. 1 year sooner, you would have been right into Europe already.
Well,
they
so I
wasted
think
it.
Southampton changed owner around 2016, 2017.
It was
They've got
more
Rich Hassel.
18-19. It was around when they had Hasenhüttl, because obviously they sacked him
I feel like, I think
stupidly.
it was it
They
not before?
really-
No, it was
because-
after.
Because I feel like the reason I say this, the reason I bring this up is because they had after Koeman they went for Puel, who Southampton.
They
God,
went,
really
you missed,
did
you
well,
missed
even with the
an
cup
even
final.
worse one, mate. Maurizio Pellegrino,
That's
absolutely
what I mean.
diabolical
I'm
manager.
doing this chronologically, Nathan. So
Yep.
Pellegrino was next, and they sunk further. They spent 20 million quid, I think, on Guido Carrillo, who did nothing for
Correct.
6 months and left.
Yeah,
That's
Mark
right.
Hughes came in, kept them up. They spent money on him, but it was very like what the recruitment team apparently wanted, the owner didn't give them. So I think apparently the owner would have rather have signed Vestergaard when the Southampton board said, well, no, he's too slow. And they signed Vestergaard anyway. And there were clearly stuff going on between the recruitment team, the coach. I think it was the coaching staff. I think Mark Hughes' assistant, and Mark Hughes didn't want Vestergaard.
Yeah.
And the ownership signed Vestergaard anyway. And then Hasenhüttl came in, and it got a bit interesting afterwards.
He made them look the best they'd been since Koeman. And then I said it the minute I said it on here by all you guys. I said the minute that Hasenhüttl was not in that job anymore, Southampton go down. They should
Yeah,
have
I think
backed
they're
the fuck out of him. They should have spent on him because he would have done so well with an invested squad.
Do you know what? The reason I think the reason they didn't spend on him is because every season they looked like there was a moment where things were going to go wrong, and then he managed to save it. And I think when he got sacked, it had gone to the point where I think he was losing the dressing room. I think he'd lost the dressing room when he'd gone. I think it was like a year in, year out. We lose 9-0 2 seasons in a row. It looks like there's absolute turmoil. It's just not sustainable anymore. Sacking
But
him,
also-
okay, fine. That's the
Yeah,
right
because
choice.
that
If
was on top of that as well. That was the new owners sort of
Yeah.
pushing a panic button because they just didn't know where to go from there at all either.
If
Because
it ain't
they
broke,
know
maybe-
what-
Backed Hasenhüttl for so long.
If it,
Yeah.
if
Just
the,
sacked
the
him.
new owner said, if it ain't broke, maybe rip it up and do something new.
Yeah,
And look how well that's turned out. If you're going to sack Hasenhüttl, fine, sack him, that's fine. Hire someone who's going to have some kind of continuity. You can't go something completely opposite and then change your mind 2 months later. Listen, Nathan Jones, thank you for knocking Man City out of the League Cup, which meant we could win the League Cup, basically. But aside from that, your contribution, apart from some meme press conferences about you marrying some Welsh girl in the valleys and whatnot, your contribution is you're only remembered as a laughingstock.
Pretty much.
You took a big opportunity and you couldn't hack it again.
They need to definitely back the new manager. They need to really invest in that.
Will
because
still is top. Is Southampton's top for me, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
we
not-
pretty
not that I'm
much
convinced.
gathered that.
Not that I'm convinced, but it was very much like a. I don't know where to put these teams.
It's a toss of a coin.
fair enough.
So angry rants aside,
He's dead.
that's
by the
my
way.
predictions. I just don't know where any of it. It's literally a lottery from 1st to 7th, and then, in fact, 1st to 8th, 1st to 9th is a lottery, and then 10th to 21st is a lottery, and then I want to say 22nd to 24th is guaranteed, but knowing my luck, that's not going to happen.
22nd and 23rd is guaranteed. 24th, no, that's a lottery. 24th is pretty much sealed at this point. But we'll get to them shortly anyway. Reece, what's your top two, bud?
So second is a team that I've said many times I do have a little bit of an odd soft spot for, just because the style of football I did like, but obviously they did bottle away from it.
Mhm.
Are they going to invest? I'm not sure. I think that squad does need some serious investment because, again, we don't fully know how Will Still is going to adapt to the Championship, because you can go out and go into France, but he's never actually managed an English football, so it's a very interesting test for him. But it's not a bad squad. It's just it's more of an uncertainty about where they go, and the aim for them should obviously be automatic places, if not winning the Championship. Like they need to get out. My only thing is though, is if it goes badly for Will Still and they back out of him, where do they go next? Because I feel like I feel like they will pull that trigger if it doesn't go well, but I feel like they shouldn't pull the trigger on him because he's actually done well in a top league. Now he's coming to a second tier league where he could actually maybe make a different sort of impact, a different sort of change, and see if he can get back up. The only thing is for him though, is if he does even get like first or second and they get promoted, he needs to be given he needs at least 80 to 100. Their owners are rich. They need at least 80 to 100 just to make a couple of Premier League player signings that'll actually keep them in the league.
They've got to overhaul the squad entirely.
Yeah, they do. For me, it was more or less of a toss of a coin, but the only reason why I'm not giving it to Will Still is because Kieran McKenna's been in the Ipswich job slightly longer, so it gives him a little bit of a fair advantage of sorts of being familiar, but we'll see. So the real question is, will Will Still be at the end of the season? Will he still be in charge of a job, or will Will Still be back in France, where Will Still determines at the end of the day, where Will Still says, hallelujah, I'm going away. So will Will Still actually potentially be managing a different league where he may actually make a good impact? For example, will Will Still end up in the Bundesliga? Will Will Still end up in Serie A? Will Will Still end up in La Liga, where he could be a decent job in, say, Valencia? Will Will Still actually prove that he is a decent manager overall, that he gets to the Premier League potentially as a championship winner? We are certainly going to find out. So will Will Still please stay in the job, because Will Will Still, you are English, but please denounce it and become something else like Scottish. Will Will Still, I want to see you do well, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure. So will Will Still, please do well, Southampton, get promoted, and then we can laugh later.
Oh my god, that was phenomenal. Fair play.
I am him.
Fair play.
I don't even know how. I don't know how I do that. I really don't know.
Nah, mate, that was lost for words. Absolutely lost for words, bud. But on the plus side, that's our predictions. Got a few more. Got a few more minutes to discuss a few things. Probably go to roll to about 10, so we've got a bit more time to go for. So one thing you got to get off the chest, and most importantly for me, why aren't Sky reporting this? It's of course the sad state of affairs at Morecambe. Now we can say this with Morecambe. We've obviously slandered Sheffield Wednesday as well, who are dead bottom of the Championship this season. It's just absolutely embarrassing.
If they somehow
survive, has done everything.
If Sheffield United is somehow surviving, and I say this as more of a hope than an absolute yes, they're going to do it. If Sheffield Wednesday somehow survive the league despite all the financial shit they're in, I will honestly say that's amazing. Yeah. But they are absolutely screwed. But for Morecambe, I don't even know how they've got themselves into such a position. I don't know. But what I will say is the fact that Sky are not reporting this is very shifty. Because if this had been someone like an Everton or a Chelsea, they would have been all over that. There'd be 100 reports every single hour, let alone day. I feel like this is an example,
and it's a close one to your heart, mate. Look at the coverage.
The Rangers
back in 2011, 2012, Rangers, it was on national news, everything daily.
There was a documentary about it as well. There was a documentary that came out on BBC saying who actually is responsible for the Rangers situation. It was crazy. It's still on YouTube to watch, by the way. It's a full hour and a half. But it's an absolute joke. What's up, Temple, please? It's not. I'll tell you what. I'll actually find you the. I'll find you the thing right now. And I'll actually drop it in the chat for you.
Yeah, drop it in.
Please.
Really
Can I just touch on a few things with the Morecambe thing?
Yeah.
Because I think there's 5 things really to look at here. The first one being the ownership negligence. the current owner looks to be like completely unresponsive. You know, his actions you could describe as irrational. It doesn't seem there's any logical plan, and it's appearing that, you know, the goal is to extract every possible financial benefit possible, then abandon the ship when it's falling, and then it seems that it's all speculative, not passion driven. And I think then you go on to the fact that the buyers, these supposed saviors, you know, you got these guys called Punjab Warriors who initially showed interest in saving the club. They've gone silent. I think they've put some kind of financial contribution in, but it appears that because they're not reaping any kind of reward in regards to a takeover, maybe they've stepped back. There was this Johnny Cato. So this Johnny Cato, another investor. It looks like a fictitious name. I think the Punjab Warriors, I think I read somewhere that they were worn down by the constant additional demands, which led to their withdrawal. And I think their disappearance at this critical moment exposes the unreliability of these so-called saviors.
Yeah. And on top of that as well, one thing I've never seen before is a prospect being as public as they are, the Punjab Warriors, who are constantly attacking Jason Whittingham, the owner, saying, what is this guy doing? Like, he's got until Monday before they run out. They know everything inside. And they're literally exposing everything to say it's all on the owners here. That they are just
we're trying to do a deal. We're trying to help out. This guy it's almost like we're paying millions of pounds to help the football club. Football club's not being helped. He's taking the money for himself. I think the players and the staff are the unsung heroes here because they're remaining as professional as possible. They're continuing to train, play, represent the football club with dignity.
Including they haven't been paid since May, by the way.
Exactly.
Which is absolutely disgusting.
Exactly. I think the new kit was released today.
Yeah.
Loads of people queued up to buy the football kit. So clearly the fans obviously care about the club, which I know sounds a silly thing to say. Of course they do, but you don't have to go and buy a football shirt from the team you support, but they're doing it for the greater good. I think what this whole thing highlights is failures in the football governance. You know, the National League's ultimatum exposing the club's financial incapacity. Fine. But we get this a lot. You wait until the very end to intervene, and then you complain all about everything. Where's the proactive solution? You know, the processes you have for football ownership, they're failing to prevent situations like this. You know,
they're reactive, not proactive.
Exactly. Clubs are left vulnerable to these speculative investors who prioritize profit over like community legacy. Sorry, I keep burping. I don't know why. But I think we're seeing a lot of this. Owners are coming in, reaping the benefits of a football club, and just walking out, leaving it. You know, rather than put some money into the club, looking after whatever, they're milking it like a cow on life support. There's not a lot of money down the lower ends of the EFL and the National League. So they're going, right, well, I own a business. I'm going to take all the money out and I'm going to run off with all my money. Doesn't matter what happens in the business. Doesn't matter what happens. And I just hate seeing all this kind of... You even see this to a normal scale, to everyday life. Car dealerships do stuff like this. Yeah. My brother bought a crap car from his car dealership last year, right? In the entire time this person's owned this dealership, what he does is every 6 months on Company's House, you can see all these different car dealership company names dissolved. So this guy will open up a car dealership for 6 months. Lord knows what kind of benefits he gets from it, whether it's business loans, whether it's, I don't know what. Then he closed it after 6 months when he sold cars in turmoil, almost to stop any dodgy motors he's selling coming back to haunt him. He keeps trading under new names at the same address. And this kind of stuff, it's really bad. And I think back to the MORECAMBE situation, I think it's not an isolated incident because we've seen stuff like this. You know, remember Bury, what happened to Bury? Bolton were almost in the same boat at the same time. I think they were 5 minutes away from almost going bust, but they didn't. Bolton, by the way, not exactly a small football club. If you followed football in the 2000s, you might have known about Prime Barclays, Bolton Wanderers. But I think I think really right now is you have to criticize I don't know obviously everything about football governance and what it's like nowadays, so it's a bit weird for me to speak ill of it, but really I'm just criticizing what I'm seeing, because it's like, how is the EFL and the National League so reactive at the very last minute when things get bad, and then you keep talking about what the problem is, what you're going to do if they don't meet the standards. Your job as a governing body is to firstly stop this kind of thing in the first place, but also figure out what the solution is. There's no proactive solutions. There's no plan in place for if this happens.
Yep.
It's almost like there's a football club that's going bust.
Let's speed
That's
up.
what we're going to do about it.
It's like
Fancy
another.
Fancy pint. Let's go.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. There's no real urgency, it seems. Even when the Reading sale happened.
That's what I was going to go on to next.
Extension upon extension upon extension, which, fair enough, it means Reading weren't going to go bust even though all these deadlines were set. But you should have a system in place to stop this kind of thing happening in the first place. And then if it does happen, for it to go on for so long, ridiculous.
Yeah.
On all levels.
That's the thing with, because at the end of Bury, the EFL just completely didn't care, in my opinion. Same with Bolton. The only reason, obviously, Bolton was saved is in a way luck that their administrators were able to ship them off quite quickly. Bury just went bust, which was horrific. How they could have even bailed them out, which is what's worrying. Could have put them under public ownership. Even the government could have put them under public ownership for a bit, on them, or maybe kept them under the EFL's hands to keep them going while they find a new owner. Reading, for me, is the only one that the EFL and for me, they did it right at the last minute. They did it when Dai Young was pulling money out of the club, constantly not paying staff, players, the whole thing. And they literally did it right in the end before they had winding up orders just to protect it. They just panicked, the EFL, for me. And to be honest, with what we're seeing at the moment, with the likes of Wednesday, even some other badly run clubs, we don't even need to mention them because we all know the names of them. But like Morecambe, they could have stepped in last season to force a sale through or to put massive threats on Jason Whittingham. They need to be doing it now with Chansiri, because how can you go 3-4 months without paying any players or staff and just refuse to do anything? A transfer embargo is not going to touch the sides. It's just going to kill them more. Less money going into the club when they go down.
Here's the thing, though. I think in the EFL, especially in League Two, every football club, the chairman has to go to the board with a business plan. What point does that not happen for the likes of National League sides? Surely there's a way where you see in advance. In this business plan, surely there is some kind of forecasting. Yeah. Not just for the season up ahead, but also for 3-4 years down the line. I had a job interview today, right? And the people who interviewed me were talking about what they were looking at recruitment-wise 3-4 years down the line. That's how they plan recruitment. There's people that they're going to be losing probably half the team in a year's time, they were telling me. So they've got a plan for in advance with what their recruitment is and what timescale they're looking at. At what point does that not come about in football governing bodies? I think we've done this before. We discussed on this show. We came up with a great plan for what football governing bodies should be, what they should do and everything. And one of the things I kept bringing up before then, and then during that as well, always ask football clubs and ownerships for business plans. Yes, okay, I understand. If they bring a business plan, you can't really foresee if an owner decides crap money and just starts taking cash out of the football club, runs down to the nearest Morrison's car park, goes to the ATM and just clears out the company account for the football club. Okay, and just shoving cash in the pocket. All right, of course, you cannot forecast for that.
Exactly, but not to bring Cardiff in again. I know for a fact Vincent Tan's never written a business plan. Well, if you watch, obviously I can't say that for truth, but if you watch this Malaysian video about him that was analysing all of his businesses, it was described every single one he has. He's got a lot of businesses. They're all described as chaos with the way the directors are run. Everything is just everywhere. Now with Cardiff City, there's no way he's been sticking to that because this season stopped all transfer funding. He's stopped building the training ground to save more money, and he's also U-turned because he wants more money on a consortium, which we all know that meeting was absolute rubbish at the weekend. Because we knew that he was wanted to go for 40 million up front and 38 to Dalman, but now he wants 100 million up front right at the last minute because he knew how much he could get it for and brainwashed to wait a year.
He's just sabotaging deals. He's actively sabotaging deals.
Yeah.
And I wonder if De Jong was doing the same as well. I think De Jong was actually doing the same as well.
He was.
Because he was basically going, well, I'm being offered stuff. It's not what I want. And the Football League's like, we can't be mad at you for not negotiating deals.
Yeah.
And we can't, we're running that Dexter meme where we can't prove you're actively sabotaging deals, but you're sabotaging deals, but we can't do anything about it, so we don't know what to do. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know what's next for Morecambe. I really hate seeing football clubs go bust. It doesn't matter what football club I support as a Man United fan or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. It's a football club. I'm kind of sick of seeing owners come in, milk football clubs for the money they've got and leaving them as a mess. I think there are so few firemen accountants, where they'll come in because they like the mess and they like cleaning it up. A lot of people don't want to touch another person's mess. It's in all walks of life. Even in trades work, if you have someone who comes over and does a dodgy job on your house, on your roof, getting someone else to come fix it is harder.
Yeah.
Because half the time they'll say, yeah, we'll do it, and they won't call you back, or they'll give you an unrealistic, quote price, or they'll just simply say, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching another tradesman's work.
Beyond saving.
Exactly, and it's the same in businesses. So how they get out of this, I don't know. The fact that the governing bodies involved probably don't have a solution either.
Mm-hmm.
The solution seemed to be either it seemed to involve reactive involvement and very much like well, you sort yourselves out and we'll be here ready for the new paperwork to make sure you're okay. Like, sorry, but a sale needs to be done. Now, obviously, I don't expect governing bodies to start magically picking out buyers. Just magic them up of thin air, but I don't know. I don't know what you can do in this situation. I think you should have had something in place to avoid this in the first place.
Yeah.
And we're in August now, with players not being paid since what? March, April, May?
Yeah, since I think when is it? Morecambe's was May.
The alarm bells were ringing in May. Why is it only now, in the last week or so, we're getting coverage suddenly of, oh, Morecambe are going to go bust?
Yep.
So I don't know.
It's so difficult. But yeah, they just need to be proactive, not reactive, because it's just going to keep happening, guys. But Reece, do you have anything to add?
Independent regulators in football, but this is almost calling for stuff like that.
It's almost as if you've had your opportunities, but it's going to have to happen now because you've failed to.
I don't like politicians getting involved with football and trying to tell football clubs how to run their businesses. They're politicians. We've seen how you run the country. Not really setting a good enough example for the footballing world. Why should you get involved for the sake of it? You didn't need to get involved in Roman Abramovich's sale of Chelsea. You didn't have to force him to do that. You just wanted to get involved. Honestly, Abramovich should still be here today, if I'm being perfectly honest.
He should be the Man United owner.
He's not.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I honestly want Abramovich as Man United owner and just break the transfer market every single fucking summer.
He didn't care. He just wanted to win. He just didn't care. Like, don't care the managers. Don't care what they've done for us. It's like Di Matteo 3-4 months after he won on the Champions League. I didn't care.
Exactly.
So I think it's just a whole load of shit, and this is going to keep happening until something happens, and I don't know what is the answer for all this. On the one hand, I don't want independent regulators. On the other, just the same way, everyone voted Labour because it was anyone but the Tories. Now Labour is in government, and everyone hates Labour. doesn't surprise me at all. But it was anyone but the Tories, and I feel like that's what we're going down with this kind of football governance, where it's anyone but no football governance, no football governance, no regulators. At one point, we get regulators in. Oh, actually, we don't like that. I think there is a need for some regulation, but not. I think it has to be a football specialist of some kind. I think it needs to be a team of footballing specialists, business specialists in the football world, experts, not politicians. If you're going to have regulators, it's got to be people who know what to do. Even get ex-administrators, people who when football clubs go into administration.
Yeah.
I think that's probably as far as I'd go, is to say if you're going to get regulating bodies involved.
Because they're normally a success story as well, but yeah, that's the way I go. Even like more like fan engagement, make the fan advisory boards legally binding, because I'm a broken record of it, but R1 just gets ignored. I know you legally have to have one, but make it legally that they have to listen. But yeah, Reece, you got anything else to add, bud?
Honestly, I don't think there's much else I can say. But what I will say is there needs to be top-down across not just English football, but world football in general, about ownerships. And I think, especially if you're... Now, a fan's not going to know the insides and outs unless they're a specific fan that also works in finance. I believe an ownership... This might sound incredibly stingy, but in my opinion, an owner or prospective owner is coming in to buy a football club must show their actual, not their net worth, but their actual in-bank account worth.
Yeah. What they've got in cash. Like you can have a great net worth, but if you've got nothing to your name cash-wise, you ain't fit for purpose almost.
Like if you can't,
you're just not leveraging everything.
Because Craig White was the same. Oh, he's got the money. Conveniently buys a football club for £1, and then all of a sudden it just goes horribly wrong, and you're killing a juggernaut of British football. But if you cannot prove your exact amount, then you should be disqualified from buying a football club automatically. Especially people that have like multiple football clubs already, like they've got to divest their funds. How are they doing that? Like for me, I get there's multi-club ownership in football, and I don't have a particular issue with that. But for me in particular, there should be a specific budget that club runs on, and this is the investment, and this is how they see it. And you have someone who actually manages that club's finances that says, this is what we've got. If we're coming low to cash, we'll confirm it. That's another thing that should be brought in. If you're running low on cash, you must declare it. Because at that point, then you get investigated thoroughly, and then you find out ways to resolve it before it goes, well, let's just make you guys bust. Like, actually say, like, for Man United example, we've got 120 million left in cash. Okay, let's see your assets. Let's see why you're so far, like, low on cash. Why is the reason? Like, what is the reason? Why are you not able to change it? What are you doing with your annual revenue that's causing this? And where's the money going? Where is the money going? Because quite frankly, it will prove which clubs are actually in the black, which clubs are close to the bridge of the red and the black, which clubs are actually in the red, but are not damaging that they can get back in the black. Because right now, that's my biggest concern. And that's what I would do across the board in football. Make your cash value assets publicly known. And if you can't do it, then you should then be investigated for failing to declare that information.
And what would you do for the clubs that refuse? Because we've seen it before, especially in COVID. Like, we were one of the culprits. Mm-hmm. We refused to declare ours, and we got hit with a massive transfer embargo.
For sanctions. Sanctions. I would impose a free match. It's not a free match. I would impose a free sanction, like a free sanction list. So, first sanction for me is automatic 20-point deduction. Mm-hmm. Automatic, no matter where you are in the league, automatic 20 points deducted if you fail to disclose your funds within, say, 5 working days.
Yeah.
Second sanction, you are imposed 4 transfer window ban. 2 full years of no transfers in and out. You can't sign, you can't sell. Therefore, you should be able to lose any money because you've got your own players. You're not spending on players. The third and final sanction for me, it goes to a tribunal.
Yep.
Your club owner, your chief exec, and anyone else on your board are summoned. They've got to present evidence of their finances in that section. If you don't, you are then told you have a 3-month window. You must sell the club, otherwise the club will be recovered from you, and it will be held by the government until an owner comes in, and that owner will pay money directly to the government, and that money then gets distributed to the clubs within the league.
Makes sense.
Automatic, and the dodgy owners get nothing. The league gets something, the owners get nothing. Say it's Cardiff, for example. Cardiff don't declare their funding. Vincent Tan lose the club, but then someone buys, say, Cardiff off the British government for 100 million quid. The 100 million goes down down the leagues to help the grassroots and any clubs that are struggling with any financials where they can't pay at that minute. It helps them. It gives them a little lease on it. That's how I would do it. 20-point automatic deduction. 2 full seasons of no transfers in and out. You can't sign players on a free agency as well. You can't bring anybody in, because if you bring someone,
are we just talking youth players to push
only promote? You can only promote from within, yes. But if you're so obviously I'll be a little bit lenient where you'll have until the transfer window opens, you can bring in, say, free agents to boost your squad. But the minute the transfer window opens, no loans, no signings, no outgoings, you're stuck with what you've got. And then if you declare any players after the transfer window is open that's not part of the sanction, it goes straight to sanction free. Because for me, that's breaking a sanction. So that's exactly what I would do. I've actually been thinking about that whilst you guys have been talking. That's exactly what I would do, to be honest. I don't hold shit back on that.
I like that, because if you take that logic in for the last couple of years,
a lot of owners get fucked beautifully.
Vincent Tan would be one. Chansiri would have been one a long time ago. Venky's would be in the...
Yeah.
Mike Ashley wouldn't.
No, he would.
Because would he? Because I thought he was very A to B to C with it, finance-wise.
For me, it's because I think the circumstances, he just kept refusing to sell the club.
Yeah.
If you're refusing to sell the club, there must and you still can't show any proof of commitment to your funds, then you can't still own that club. For me, that's mismanagement of a business. So that's something.
Like Ashley is one then.
Yeah. For the entire 20 plus years, the Glazers. So.
Yeah, the Glazers would be one as well.
Craig White, 100% for me as well.
West Ham are on the border.
West Ham, yeah. Palace. Southampton. Liverpool.
Yeah, Southampton, yeah.
Liverpool. Fulham until the cans come in, because they've at least stabilised shit.
They have,
and right now, because it's a strange situation, but he is spending money, but the ownership is confusing with the behaviour. Forest.
Marinakis, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Spurs?
Spurs spend, but Spurs are just are a confusing mess. So I would say, I would have them in that conversation. Leicester City as well, since sadly the father died.
Since the relegation, I'd say Leicester are definitely in there.
Yeah, they would need to be. So that's what I would do. I know obviously my sanctions are deemed too extreme, but I believe in extreme means when it comes to this stuff. So that's what I would do. I'm brutal as the honesty. That's exactly what I would do. If you're not in it to care about a football club, and if you treat it like a business, that's fine. But a business is also a football club, and you've got to treat it as a sport as well. If you're not treating it respectfully, then you should have it removed from you.
I agree.
And you should be seeing any money for it. If you're not taking if you own a football club, you should care about the money they make, but also the money you put in and the money you get back from your own investment. If you're deliberately not doing anything for that club, then you should have it taken off your hands. I agree with Julio. Like Roman Abramovich did nothing wrong. The only thing that he did wrong is the fact that he's Russian. That's it.
Yeah.
He should still be allowed in this country. He should still be allowed part of English football because the guy's one of the greatest owners of all time. He changed the game for some of the wrong reasons, but also some of the right reasons. So, quite frankly, Abramovich should come back to football and he can buy out the pricks and he can buy out Glazer 2.0.
Yep. And that's well said, because if I had to do a more lenient version of what you said, I think I think possibly it'd still be strict. I think first one would be a free window embargo, similar to what us and Sheffield Wednesday have had in the last couple of years. Number two, I'd go for a 12-point deduction in the first instance for the first offence, but then I'd do a strike-free second offence 20-point deduction, and then it goes to the tribunal. That's the way I do it.
Fair. I'm just sicker than you.
Nah, Reece, you have standards, man. That's the thing.
Reece loves terrorism, that's why.
He does.
Reece is only about explosivity. Either don't do it, go big or go home.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people. I left a group chat today because I got annoyed about high standards when people were like, "Oh, you can't aim higher than what you are," and I was like, "No, I aim high because I'm a man who has high standards."
Yeah.
In the right circumstance, like they're like, "Oh,
yeah, the group chat, I think it is."
Oh, I've left that group chat now, but it's annoying. But the thing is, as well, is like it was over a conversation about, we should neglect. I was talking about like the fact that yes, getting moaned about our striker options. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. We need strikers, but we really need a midfield. Like, we really need to sign midfielders because goals win games, defense win trophies, but midfield controls the game regardless. You need to sign midfielders. And they're like,
that was, to be fair, one of our biggest problems last season was it was like in transition, we were cut open in midfield. We were losing duels beyond belief. Like I said to you at the beginning, we have a small midfield, very small physically. Yeah. You know, Casemiro is the only big Donny, and he's an uncle at this point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and I was like,
more physicality and dynamism in the midfield.
Yeah, and I was like, we can go into the season. I don't particularly rate Højlund, and Xerxes is there. And we've got Cunha, we've got Emblemo who can play up front as well. We've got other players who can play in those other two attacking positions. So I was like, I'm not overly obsessed with signing strikers. Absolutely, Temple, you're spot on.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not overly obsessed with signing a striker. But I recognize we need a striker, but for me, we need midfielders. And it got to the point where they were like, "Oh no, we don't need. We can forget the midfield for a while because we need to sign goals." I was like, "Oh look, the amount of goals we're signing pre-season." I was like, "Pre-season." I'm like, "Pre-season means nothing." Yes, we've scored a good amount of goals in pre-season, but the midfield will allow us to score.
2014 and 2015, Louis van Gaal kept convincing us we were going to win the league because of pre-season.
Yeah, exactly.
That first one, we looked playing his 3-4-1-2 formation. We looked the dog's bollocks. We swept aside Real Madrid.
Madrid and Barcelona.
Just won the Champions League. We did it to Barcelona a year later. We swept aside other teams like Roma and Liverpool, who'd just gone on that, amazing run to finish second because of Luis Suarez the year before. And then we didn't win until our fourth game into the season.
Yeah. And I'm like, we need to sign midfielders. I'm like, no, we can afford to wait. And I was like, no, you can't, because our first game's against Arsenal. Like, and I'm like, I'm not sitting here saying, that's something you never told me before, Temple. Class, good lad. Same here, by the way. The thing that pissed me off is when I was like, we need to sign midfielders, otherwise we're completely fucked. And they're like, no, it's okay. We can afford to wait on midfielders because we need to solve our attack. I was like, I'm all fine in getting attackers in, but if we don't have a midfield, that attack is still useless. And then
are they saying that on the basis of we're going to spend all this money on Šeško, which I don't think is the right, which I've already said I don't.
No. They were saying on the base. No, they were using they used my argument against me by saying, but look at Chelsea. Chelsea signed midfielders, but they only started getting better when they signed attackers. I was like, no, Chelsea would have done better anyway because their midfield allows their attack to flourish. Yep. And it just kept getting so fucking delusional. I was like, nah, I'm out. I'm not staying in a group with narcissists. I'm like, nah, I'm out. Like, it's just stupid shit like that. I'm like, these are people that actually like in the parade about their football and they claim like they're like their ways right. And I was like, you can have the best attackers in the world, but if they don't have a midfield around them, you're fucked
We
off.
could have the best front three in the world. We could have the best defenders in the world. We are still going to get cut open in the midfield, especially in this formation. I don't like the 3-4-2-1 as
Me
a
neither.
base formation compared to a 3-1-4-2 because I feel like
I prefer a flat three.
especially in the Premier League. Especially in the Premier League with the midfield, the midfield is important for me. And whilst, listen, our midfielders suit the 3-1-4-2 better.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I prefer a whole like if we're playing a system that's a 3-5 or a 3-4 or whatever. I prefer one that relies heavily upon a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
No, I mean attacking midfielders are great, but I would rather a defensive midfielder because then we're controlling the midfield. I feel like it's circumstance. Or alternatively, there are actually teams that play 3-4 systems that is a 3-4 with a diamond, with a number 10 and a number 6.
Yeah.
With two midfielders right in there. I actually like that balance as well. But I don't like when someone says, oh, we can do it this way, it works, because we don't need midfielders. Like, no, if we don't sign midfielders, we will not even be in the top 10 next season.
For this formation to work, we are in desperate need for midfielders. Yes, of course, if you sign a striker, especially a proven striker like Watkins, or even Mateta, who offers something completely different, and I really like him.
Yeah.
Of course, the goals can win us games, but we're talking 3-2 games. We're not talking 4-0. Exactly, we're not talking that. Certain opposition, granted, but there'll be games where we really need some steel in that midfield, and unfortunately, we don't have it. And I made a bold claim last week when I said that in a few years, Ugarte could be moved on or dropped as a big bit part player. And I was told, well, hang on, he's a good age in that. The point I was making was, in the Premier League, there's almost no room for error. Granted, N'Golo Kante was amazing, even though he wasn't technically gifted. Ugarte isn't N'Golo Kante, though.
Agreed.
Unless he stops getting taken off after 60 minutes and stops making silly technical mistakes, and we partner him with someone really good on the ball who is a proven 6, in my opinion. Oh, I don't like this whole talk of naive profiles and whatever, specialists or whatever. We're all professional footballers. If you've got a 6 who's good on the ball, you can put him in this formation easily.
Yeah.
But we don't have that. Casemira's all right on the ball, granted. Ugarte isn't good on the ball. Mainu isn't a 6. He's never been a 6, so that's going to take development. Bruno isn't a 6.
No.
Bruno isn't a 6. I like Bruno Fernandes, and I think he's done a job. And maybe next season, one game a week, you can maybe rely on that. But it's not. If I'm looking at the team and I'm looking where the weak points are now, I still think we need a left wing back. I still think we need a midfielder. I still think we need a striker. The only position in the team I think we could have gone without signing this summer was defence for 1 year, and then look at defensive reinforcements in a year's time. That's the only position I think, numbers-wise, was stacked. I think because they're professional footballers, I think the defenders that we've currently got, there's a decent crop there you can use and work with in this Amorim system. But the midfield, there's too many questions. The wing backs, you get people aren't so sure about Ahmad or Dalot, and even at left wing back, you could argue we need someone a bit more proven. And in attack, we only scored 44 goals last season, and one of the scorers of a few of those, left on loan in January. Whether you think Marcus Rashford is good or terrible, he scored 5 or 6 goals in the first half of the season. That's still a lot more than a lot of other players we had. We virtually had to see the likes of Garnacho and Højlund play every game and almost be shoehorned in. Both of the players need to go, if I'm being honest. I like both. I like the potential of Højlund and the attributes. I've always liked Garnacho, but I cannot sit here and say he is a perfect fit for this system. I like Junior. I like Mbeumo. I didn't expect us to sign both. I am.
I did. I said we would get both. I still don't think it's. I still think there's some issues, but it's not them. I blame.
I think if United are going to go for a striker, it has to be someone Premier League proven. And I think that completes our forward line for a few years. And then you can sign a Šeško, you know, a project centre forward.
Oh, I do not want to see any attacking signings next year. If we see any attacking signings, I will honestly
No,
beg
absolutely
them.
not. And like
I'll
I
demand a
said,
sacking.
like I said before, even if we sign Gyökeres, I still wasn't sure about him. Yes, he's system proven with Amorim, but I just had too many question marks about Gyökeres that I was like, okay, he could make it in the Premier League. I can also see him flopping. Granted, he's not going to get 50 goals a season. He might get 20, 25 goals a season. I still can't scoff at his goal record. And for 60 million, it's still a good price. But I just wasn't sure if he was the right one. And I think the fact that...
Absolutely.
That's my only fear at the minute. Onana's an absolute cluster.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about the goalkeeper situation. I think we need to get a goalkeeper. Maybe a cheap goalkeeper, maybe. I don't care. Someone who could actually provide a competent challenge to the goalkeepers at the football club. You need someone to... I can't have it where Onana is dropped and we still don't trust the second choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm just looking at something just in general, right? Because I'm like, when I think about United, I'm just doing something random off the top of my head, right? Just based on our current squad. There's obviously some things that, obviously, you want to see some changes.
The lack of midfield signings, though, worry me. Well, way too much. If we see a midfielder signing, fantastic. I'll be happy. If we sign a striker and a midfielder, I could probably do with that. Even though I still think we need a goalkeeper and another wing back potentially. Because I like the potential. I don't understand Dorgu hate. I really don't. I really like him, and I think he's got really good potential, and I think he will grow really nicely. But I still think we should have gone for a proven left wing back.
Yeah.
Even if it's an older guy. Last summer, I said we should have signed maybe Marcos Alonso on a free transfer. That was when we had Ten Hag. That was before Amorim. But I thought an experienced option, because I can't be doing another year where with Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia as part of the group. I can't do another year of those two.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm a little bit radical. And that wouldn't... Obviously, that's normal. But say from the current squad, for example, I don't trust it an awful lot. Well, some of it I do, some of it I don't. But if I'm looking at the current squad now, I'm only changing a few things, but this is what I would do with our current squad at the minute. Say we don't, we were linked with Donnarumma, but I don't think we're going to sign him anyway. Like,
no, absolutely
if you just look at our current squad, I don't know what's happening with Martinez, so I've not named him in the squad. Obviously, I've left Matt Shrawi out of my starting 11. But even before you add in Šeško, like, I would actually much prefer if we played like this. Got even Nathan in the background just so you can share it in.
That'd be interesting.
I would even change Ugarte for Casemiro, just because I think Casemiro is better on the ball.
I mean, I've got him in that one, but you could actually put him in that.
So you're playing a diamond formation as opposed to a wide diamond formation. I thought you'd be playing a wide diamond formation with, wing backs. Like,
no, narrow. Like obviously you can bring them on and push out wide. But I feel like if we want to play so narrow and controlled, just drop Ahmad into an attack, like a box-to-box attacking midfield role. Sorted. I just look at it and I'm like, I think that's actually our best front three.
That is our best front three, 100%. The fluidity and unpredictability of those three is going to cause all sorts of turmoil this season.
Like, it gives me a lot of confidence. But my only thing is, obviously, is Onana, defensive midfield, potentially another player, and the fact that Aiden Heaven is not ready to be a mainstay left centre back. We need another one ahead of him, but I still like it. I still do not for the life of me trust
Euro could be. I don't know what our best back three would be, but I want to see Euro play as a left centre back as well. I think that could be, he could make that position his own, and Heaven coming in is perfect. I think if Martinez is going to play anywhere in the back three, I think you have to put him centrally.
Yeah, I
Because
think it should. I think Martinez or De Ligt should be compete for the central spot, but I don't trust De Ligt still, regardless. And I actually do prefer this. This actually allows Fernandes to stay in the attacking midfield role. He supplements these three. Kobe Mino can keep the ball. Ahmad can run with it. If Ugarte can stay fit, let him just break play, and you've got three centre backs who can carry and distribute the ball forward. The only thing is,
this is crazy, this is crazy, but compact.
Yeah, and we play compact anyway. We play compact, so I've actually just saved the club in smart ways.
Nah, it's genius. I'm so gassed to do the Premier League next week now, guys.
Yeah, I actually do like this.
I love that front three.
Nah, I get Reece in as director of football.
I'd be alright with that.
Yeah, you would, to be fair. That'd be class. But aside from that...
Actually, I'm keeping that for reference. I'm keeping that.
Yeah, screenshot that, mate, for next week.
Oh, I am. I actually am. Saved it now. I've saved it now on my PC. Fuck it, that's saved.
Beautiful. But aside from that, lads, we're great to be back. We've absolutely smashed it again tonight.
We have.
Do we have any parting comments, boys?
That we will be back more. We won't. Yep. We won't be leaving out. We are definitely going to sort a permanent day, and we can just stick with it. But one thing is for sure is the weekly Steel Chair's favorite channel, the World of Football Podcast, is back, and we're here to have more fun. And guys, I look forward to seeing you back on this channel next week. If you want to get involved with our shows, you're absolutely more than welcome.
Yeah, just drop us a line, guys.
Absolutely. In fact, thanks very much. If you do like just listen to podcasts instead of watching them back, we are also on Spotify. So please do find us on there. But we really want to get back to this. I've not had a summer off. These two have. So we're certainly going to kick about and see what we can do. And also, if you do like other content, Nathan does have a channel. Obviously, it's is at on screen. Mine's obviously, as you guys know, I'm 6 away from 400 subscribers now. So
smashing it.
Yay.
Yeah. Doing well. I've passed the watch hour requirement.
Beautiful. Nearly there, bud.
Yeah, done really well for that. So thank you to everybody. I think if we get a midfielder, get a goalkeeper, get a striker, then I'm confident for the season. But
yeah,
all I'm saying is I don't care if we sign Sesko. Like if we sign Sesko, I'm still saying our transfer window's a 4 out of 10. Because I wanted midfielders and at least a goalkeeper at the start of the season, plus at least one centre back, and we've not got any of them. So it's still a 4 out of 10 for me, if I'm being truly honest.
That's fair.
It's good to see you, boys.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Anything for you, Julio?
I don't rant like that I normally do, so please do come back. I'm not like that every week.
He is.
I spend a lot more time rage baiting Reece than I do ranting about the genuine problems in football. So if you want more of that,
you've not really failed. Nah, because will still be out of a job by the end of the summer.
I haven't really rage baited you tonight. Normally I just disagree with things you say, sometimes for the sake of it, sometimes for content.
Because your will still an absolute dick.
I will still. I'm not going to try it.
You can't do it. Always be a dick. You just can't do it. I mean, I can.
Not even going to try. Not even try.
Do try it because it is funny.
Yeah, well, when I have enough time in front of the mirror to practice, I will do so, Reece.
I didn't even do it. I didn't even practice this. I just came on a stream the other night.
It was literally off the cuff. It was amazing.
It was off the cuff. It was if we were able to play the clip from Carl's channel, you will see that I just done it off the cuff.
Honestly, I will find it. But
find it, clip it, and send it to him in our group chat, and you'll see that
I will.
Genuinely dope.
Nah, that is what I'm doing. But aside from that, bring on next week of the Premier League predictions. I can't wait for it. We got even more to slander, especially Arsenal. Enjoy it, guys. We got another good one coming up. The best Premier League predictions you'll ever see. Enjoy it. We can't wait to be back, and we'll see you all in a week. Enjoy it, lads.
Live on YouTube. And listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.